Hanbit, and I'm a pastry chef from Korea. Hi everybody, it's Hanbit here. 안녕하세요, 조한빛입니다. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make an amazing chocolate tart, Hanbit's baked chocolate tart. I know that many of you have been asking me for a delicious chocolate tart recipe, so here you go. And before I start, I just want to go through the different types of chocolate tarts. Essentially, there are two types of chocolate tarts. To be more precise, there are three types if you count the petit gâteau type of chocolate tarts, but I'll just cover the regular chocolate tarts. So there are two different types there. First is the baked chocolate tart, and the other is the non-baked chocolate tart. Essentially, both types of chocolate tarts work with what we call ganache. If you want to find out more about what a ganache is and how to make it, please take a look at my previous upload, as I have a very detailed video on it. So for both a baked chocolate tart and a non-baked chocolate tart, both of them use ganache. The baked chocolate tart works with ganache plus eggs, whereas for a non-baked chocolate tart, it's simply ganache that's used as the chocolate filling. So there's quite a bit of difference between the two in terms of the texture and the sweetness. Of course, both of them are delicious and I love both of them. But I guess some of you might prefer one over the other. In this video today, I'll cover the baked chocolate tart. And in another video next time, I'll come back with the non-baked chocolate tart, also called the chocolate ganache tart. Right, the baked chocolate tart. What do we need to do? We first need the tart shell. So once you have the tart shell, you simply have to make the chocolate filling, pour it in, and bake it. That's it. I have a very detailed video on how to make a tart shell, so please watch that, follow it, and prepare a tart crust. I haven't included the clips in this video because then this video was going to become too long. Now, here's my tart crust that's nicely baked. You can either use a perforated tart ring, which I've done here, or you can use a regular tart pan. Doesn't matter which one you use. One tip though, when you're using a regular tart pan, just be careful so that your tart shell doesn't become too thin in between the wrinkles when you're lining it inside the pan. Which means that if your tart shell is thin between the wrinkles, it might crack. Now, time to make the chocolate filling. This chocolate filling is so easy, it just can't get easier than this because you only have 3 ingredients. I've got covered chocolate, heavy cream, and whole eggs. By the way, I've added in a pinch of salt and vanilla extract in the eggs. Although the ingredients are so simple, you do have to get the order right. So essentially, I'm going to make a chocolate ganache using the covered chocolate and the heavy cream. If you want to find out more about how to make a perfect ganache, take a look at my previous upload. So once I make the ganache, I'm going to mix in the eggs, and that's it. Let's start then. I'm first going to melt the chocolate to around 40 to 50 degrees Celsius and also heat up the heavy cream to around 40 to 50 degrees Celsius. I'm going to use the microwave because it's so much quicker. There are a couple of points that I love about this chocolate filling. Firstly, I love the texture of this chocolate filling. When you bake it, this chocolate filling is so smooth and silky. Secondly, I love the fact that although this is a chocolate filling, it's not as sweet as you might think it would be. With a chocolate tart that has a chocolate ganache filling inside it, there's an inherent limitation to how much you can push down the sweetness by. That's because you're using a ganache, and a ganache is sweet by design. However, with my baked chocolate tart with this filling, I'm basically adding the eggs to a ganache. So it's diluting the sweetness. And therefore, for those of you who find chocolate ganache tarts too sweet, this would be the right option. I've now got my melted chocolate and the heavy cream both at around 45 to 50 degrees Celsius. I'm going to pour my heavy cream in and make a ganache. I'm going to stir it in a circle starting from the center and move outwards. You can use a hand blender to make a ganache, which is very convenient, but today I've got a spatula, so I'll use my spatula and show you how to do it. One thing you have to remember when making a ganache is that you don't want air bubbles to go in. And especially in this tart, if you have air bubbles inside the chocolate tart filling, what's going to happen when you bake it? It's going to pop, and it's going to create pockets of air, so you don't want that. Your finished ganache should look smooth and glossy. Look at how glossy this is. Look at how smooth it is. That's how it should be. My ganache is done and I just need to add in my whole eggs. Oh, about the eggs. My eggs are at room temperature because you don't want cold eggs or chilled eggs going into this hot ganache. And also I've strained my eggs so that it's smooth and it doesn't have any lumps. That way it's going to be easier to mix into the ganache. Now eggs. Same motion. By the way, if you think you've created too many air bubbles, then you can pop them using a blowtorch. But the blowtorch can't get rid of all the air bubbles, so just be gentle throughout the whole process. Here's the tart shell that I've prepared earlier. Now I just have to pour in my chocolate filling. If you see some big bubbles, just pop them with a blowtorch. Great, now this will go straight into my preheated oven. Have you clicked like and subscribe? Now here's my chocolate tart. It's been out of the oven for about 10 minutes. You can see that it's still slightly wobbly. And that's how it should be. When it was just out of the oven, it was quite wobbly. I'm going to let my tart cool down before, let's say, either serving or keeping it in the fridge. Now here's my baked chocolate tart, all cooled down, and I know that this is going to taste delicious. If you see bubbles or cracks on your chocolate filling, that means you've overbaked it. It needs to be fairly smooth and it should be wobbly when it's straight out of the oven. I'll show you an example where I've overbaked it. Here you can see that the chocolate filling has completely cracked, which means you've overbaked it. But not only that, you can see that the tart shell has cracked over here. It was basically a point of structural weakness between the wrinkles. The tart shell was simply too thin at this point when I lined it in, so just be careful. Anyway, to avoid over baking, simply watch your chocolate tart being baked in the oven. If you start seeing small bubbles, just turn the oven off and take the tart out. I've given a guidance on the baking time and the temperature, but regarding this chocolate tart, this baked chocolate tart, the baking time and the temperature varies a lot between different sizes and between different ovens. So you need to find out the perfect baking time and the temperature based on my guideline. Before I try it, I'm going to decorate it and make it look nice. This is a chocolate tart, so cocoa powder makes sense. And just a bit of snow sugar. I'm going to put some chocolate shake on it now. There we go. There's my baked chocolate tart, all done. The baked chocolate filling is extremely smooth and silky, and that's basically what a baked chocolate tart is.
Wow!
There we go. There's a finished slice of baked chocolate tart. Wow. Just wow. There's no other way to describe this other than the fact that it's an amazingly delicious chocolate tart. In terms of the texture, because you've added in eggs to a chocolate ganache, it's much smoother, silkier, and softer compared to a regular chocolate ganache. If you take a look at the recipe, there is a lot of liquid in the chocolate filling. It comes from the heavy cream, which makes the ganache, as well as the eggs. The eggs really help in terms of adding a depth to the flavor and also bringing down the sweetness level. Some of you might say that the tart shell isn't crisp enough, but there's not much you can do with a baked chocolate tart because there's a lot of liquid in the chocolate filling. So it is going to be absorbed by the tart shell, making it soft. This baked chocolate tart tastes amazing, and so does the chocolate ganache tart. So I guess the best thing is to make both of them. Hope you've enjoyed this tutorial on the baked chocolate tart. It's actually really easy to make. You just need the tart shell and you need to make the chocolate filling, which is quite easy. If you want the tart shell to be as crisp as possible, then serve it immediately after it has cooled down. So please make it, and I'll come back next time with the chocolate ganache tart. Thank you very much. 감사합니다.